Do you have soft pastels but don't use them much because they smear when you use them in mixed media? Well, I'm going to do my no smear technique with my favorite pastels in a gel printing plate. In my previous no smear pastel video, I drew in pastel paper and then transferred it onto the gel plate. Today I'm going to put the pastel directly on the plate. Now, I have affiliate links in the description to the key supplies that I'm using today. Being an affiliate means I get a small commission if you click on my link and buy. I'm pretty sure you're going to want these pastels in a gel plate after seeing this. So let's go to the overhead camera and I'll talk to you more about what I'm using and why. So I have my 12 by 14 gel printing plate. There's a little bit of a ghost print left over from the last time I used it. That's really okay. I don't mind a little leftover imagery. It may or may not show up when I do this new print. So I'm going to use my Sennelier Extra Soft Pastels today. I really love them. You know, Sennelier has been making soft pastels since the early 1900s. They are still hand-formed and naturally air-dried. And they're not compressed with the machine. That's why you see this irregular finish, which artists love. You can see it's just kind of an imperfect shape here, and they're really soft. So the irregularities of these pastels are going to leave some interesting marks because I'm going to roll them across this plate. So let's get started. I'm not putting hardly any pressure down, just going to roll them across. And you can see already the bumpiness, the fact that they're not a perfect cylinder. They leave some irregularities. Other pastel companies, they compress their pastels into pretty hard cylinders and put a label on them, and that's the difference between these and some of your other brands. This is actually pretty fun. So the traditional use of soft pastel, you probably know, is to use pastel paper, which has a tooth to it, kind of like fine sandpaper. And of course the pastel gets scraped off by the action of the abrasion of the pastel paper. So the gel printing plate has no tooth to it, but it has this grippiness. If you haven't used a gel printing plate, it has this grippiness that pulls some of the pigment off. So this is working really, this is kind of fun. It's a little bit of a lighter application. It's going to be a little bit transparent, translucent when it becomes a print. I'll try some different colors. All the colors work pretty well. Some of them are a little softer than others, some of the colors. Oh, I might even put some black down. This wasn't very impressive. Put some black down. We'll see what that turns out like. I'm going to even overlap it onto what I got going here already. Once this pastel goes down on the first layer, I notice it doesn't go down as deeply on if you go over the top of it. It will, but not quite as much. Let's see, let's do a red. Let's see what happens if there's a gap there. I'll just roll that. Let me see, what am I missing here? What else can I do? I'm just going to make some fun colors today. This is really a bright yellow. Go over this one with that. And I'm getting down to the last of it. Let's do this. Okay, I've rolled colors. Notice I did it horizontal, kind of interesting. So today I'm going to, before I put paint down, I want to show you, I'm going to use rice paper. This is a large sheet. It's a little larger than the plate itself. So I'll be able to cover the whole thing. Well, I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm going to wrinkle this up, flatten it back down, straighten it back out mostly. Oh, the rice paper's thin. I just tore it. It's still gonna work. Actually, I have another one that I wrinkled that didn't tear. I'll use it. Okay. Speedball brayer. Got some white paint. Probably slightly out of the picture here. It's white. I'm gonna knock it down, warm it up a little bit with transparent red oxide. I use this color a lot, just a dash in there, just to make my white a little less white. I want to use white so these colors show up because they're slightly transparent, they're translucent. So if I used a really strong color, it would dilute the end result. So I'm going to see if they'll stay pretty bright by using just a warm white. Get some complete coverage down. It will help me when I pull it up later. Okay, here is my wrinkled rice paper, pulled back flat. I usually put a dip in the middle when I start, and I dip it down starting from the middle outwards. Pressing down pretty firmly to get contact, get any bubbles out. This should give it kind of a rustic look when it comes up, which I really like. I like stuff that looks beat up and imperfect. I like it already. So now the waiting begins. Okay, it feels dry to the touch, so let the peeling begin. I always like to check a corner. Certainly start with the corner. I can see that it's lifting. Now, as a slight disclaimer, the fact that I wrinkled this paper before I put it down could affect what comes up and what doesn't come up. But I use these usually in pieces. I'm not too worried about the entire piece being intact, so if it tears or comes apart, it's not a big deal to me. This rice paper is pretty good too. You can see it's coming up pretty good. But the bonus to this wrinkling that I did was you can see what's left behind, and that's going to make a great print for the next time, because I will not clean this off. I'll leave it. In fact, this looks like it might be another video. Wasn't thinking about that, but there it is. So the rice paper is doing very well, even though I watered it up. So I tend to use, like I said, pieces of this as collage pieces in my paintings, but you could use these prints for anything. It could be scrapbooking, making note cards. I like to make my own pieces. It's much more personal. You can make what you want, and you can get these great effects. You can get these great effects like the wrinkling. So, and there's the plate. Lots of interesting residue, particularly the white wrinkly stuff is going to be really make a nice other print, a bonus print. So there is the pastel directly to the gel plate, no transferring. It's just, there's your print. And the beauty of this technique is the pastel doesn't smear once you've done this. So you've got the no smear pastel method gel printing plate transfer. And I wanted to show you some other ones that I did previously. Smaller pieces. These were actually done on tissue paper. There's that. I had some strips of rice paper left over, and I just pressed these directly onto the plate. Same technique as what I just showed you. These are going to make great little pieces for my collage work.